I have a very vivid memory of being a high school freshman, 14 years old, and sitting in an advanced computer mathematics class. And I was the kid that always had questions. I was the kid that challenged everything I was told, because why should I accept it just because somebody else said it? So I was the kid in class that when I would raise my hand, the rest of the class would go, oh my God, she's gonna ask another question. And any of you who've been in meetings with me know not much has changed. So in this particular class, so there was one boy, he would later go on to get a full scholarship to Stanford, but he would always raise his hand when I raised my hand. And he would challenge me. He would sit up and he would listen to everything I asked. And he would respond to my questions with a question of his own. I loved my mind being challenged to expand and to grow. And so I'm telling my mom this one night at dinner, and she said to me, Jean, be careful. Boys don't like girls that are smarter than them. Because you see, my mom grew up and was born in a time when her worth and her value were defined by the man that she married. She was a woman of incredibly high intelligence, and she had innate gifts that made her such an amazing woman, but she was taught by our society to hide those gifts, to squash those gifts so that she could attract the right man, because she was defined by the man that she was married to. But at 14, when my mom said to me, boys don't like girls that are smarter than them, without hesitation, my immediate response was, well, then I don't like those boys. And that was the spark that lit the flame in me for a lifetime of breaking down the barriers so that we can thrive as women. The question earlier, what's the most surprising thing I've learned this year as I've prepared to become your president? What I've been surprised to learn, because honestly, when Angela asked me last year to consider being president-elect, I was like, yeah, no. So what's been surprising to me is I feel like everything in my life has led me to this moment, to be your president right now in this time. Earlier this year, as I began to think about my role as your president for this upcoming year, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of planning and preparation to be your president. And during this process, I gathered a lot of data. I had a lot of conversations one-on-one. I created a focus group of NAWBO members and non-NAWBO members because I wanted to see how we're perceived in the community and how we could be perceived in the community. And I surveyed all of you. I wanted to know what all of you want. And I took all of this information and I assimilated it into what is going to be the strategic plan for how we're going to go forward into 2020 and 2021. But as I did that, there were two things that stood out to me as outstanding. And the first thing that I want to share with you that stood out, we are a friggin' amazing organization. There is no other organization like NAWBO. 45 years ago, NAWBO's first breath of life was to enable women to own their own businesses without the need for their husband's permission. And we've never stopped since. There simply is no other organization that compares and empowers women business owners like NAWBO. And our Phoenix chapter, we've been here for 35 years, which brings me to the second outstanding fact that jumped out at me. We've been here for 35 years. And in many ways, we are still doing things like we did 30 years ago. It's time to challenge status quo. It's time for a new attitude. It's time for change. So, in the spirit of Jimmy Fallon, I'd like to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you, COVID-19, for teaching us all how to embrace change. Cue laughter. Thank you. Every year, I buy caterpillars for my grandkids in the spring. I love to watch the transformation process through the eyes of the child, still filled with wonder and awe. And as the caterpillars are in chrysalis mode, right before they hatch, they begin to violently shake. You can literally see the internal struggle that is happening as they work to emerge. The instructions that come with the caterpillar kit tell you, don't help the caterpillars hatch. Well, one year my son-in-law couldn't take it. He grabbed a pen and he started pricking away at the chrysalis and he helped the butterfly emerge. And as it did, we noticed that one wing was big and full and beautiful, and one wing was not developed. The butterfly was not able to fly. Because you see, it's the struggle that builds the strength that is needed for the caterpillar to become the butterfly and the beautiful being that it was meant to be. And it's the same with us. We are in the middle of a transition in our country, in our history. And when you're in the middle of a transition, it's a struggle. It sucks. It's hard. And I know that many of us are tired. My experience has taught me that there are two ways that people deal with change. One is to focus on what they've lost. And you'll hear people saying things like, I can't wait till we get back. They're focusing on what they've lost. The other way to deal with change is to focus on all the goodness that is to come. And I'm here to tell you, NAWBO has a lot of goodness that's coming your way. My promise to you is that we, as leaders in our community, will be agents of positive change. We will have a renewed focus on creating meaningful connections. We will have a renewed focus on growing you as a woman, as a leader, and growing your business. Because when we grow women-owned businesses, we make our community better. At the core of NAWBO is advocacy. NAWBO has a long tradition of advocating for change that prospers our members. At this time in our country, thanks to COVID-19, we now know that while some businesses have thrived, many have been financially burdened. Some businesses even closing. The facts are out. Google it, and you will see the stats that are reported in every major publication. The pandemic has hurt Black business owners the most. So while many have been financially burdened, for our Black sisters, the hurt has been felt more deeply. Added to that is the emotional pain that we've all felt as we've watched example after example of systemic racism play out right in front of our eyes. We've all felt the emotional burden. But again, our Black sisters are feeling it more deeply than we could ever imagine. We need to be the force that propels the voices of our Black women business owners. They are tired of doing the emotional labor that is necessary to effect change. So we will advocate and we will elevate all of our members, especially our Black sisters. 2021 is going to be extraordinary. The new board that was just inducted has spent hours working to bring more meaningful connections, more growth, and more goodness to elevate you. And they weren't even really inducted yet. You will hear more about all of the good things that are already in the works in the coming months. A few weeks ago, Rosaria Kane, our president-elect, and Anya Kubicki, our policy chairperson, partners at Noodle Advertising and Digital Agency, donated their time, their staff, and their resources to hold a disruptive marketing session to help us get clarity around NAWBO Phoenix and our new attitude. So, who is NAWBO Phoenix? We are the greatest organization of women's business owners that you've never heard of. We're not pretentious or small-minded group of thinkers, but a group of strong-minded experts, visionaries, and leaders. NAWBO is not a place that treats its members like an obscure 13-digit number. In fact, as badass as our association is, it's super badass. And with as much power as we have at our fingertips, we have shockingly excessive power. What makes us truly exceptional is you, our people, at the heart, soul, and brain of NAWBO Phoenix. We are both mentoring connoisseurs and networking rock stars. We are the face of business for leadership growth. NAWBO is the embodiment of us. We question everything. We fear nothing. Our members are part of our family, and we do whatever it takes to help them thrive and succeed. We make them powerful. Our main focus continues to elevate and celebrate a place to advance our members professionally. We've got your back so that you can have your customers back. We are so much more than just a professional place to connect. We are a foundation of confident reassurance for our members, and we make it look downright sexy. We are the face of women's business.